Most of us assume our daily choices, from our mood to our financial decisions, are the product of conscious, independent thought. In reality, much of our behavior runs on a series of ancient, invisible psychological glitches. This loop illustrates the mechanics of human reality. It functions as a behavioral engine where your internal state and external environment constantly feed into one another. As data flows, energy originates internally, indicating external shifts are frequently downstream effects of internal changes. Mapping these hidden algorithms provides the leverage needed to transition from being a passive passenger to an active participant in how your life unfolds. The process begins the moment you wake up. Your very first conscious thought sends an anchoring signal to the brain, establishing a baseline for the hours ahead. This morning anchor dictates the initial release of neurotransmitters, creating a psychological momentum that carries through your entire behavioral trajectory for the day. When a person consistently identifies as poor, the brain adopts that label as truth, triggering extreme risk aversion and the filtering of opportunities. This loop creates a statistical likelihood of remaining in a lower bracket, reinforcing behaviors that guarantee that reality. Every line of internal dialogue serves as an instruction to the brain, actively assembling the specific conditions of your future reality. The internal system becomes particularly volatile during periods of idleness. When experiencing sadness or loss, people naturally tend to isolate themselves and stay awake late into the night. This isolation creates dangerous cognitive bandwidth. Without external tasks to focus on, the brain fills that space with repetitive, depressive rumination. This explains why individuals with high-intensity schedules often report greater baseline happiness. Their brains lack the spare processing power required to overthink or dwell on negative emotions. When we do attempt to handle painful memories, we often trigger ironic process theory, the mechanism governing how the brain manages suppressed thoughts. As shown here, the act of trying to force a memory out of your mind creates a rebound effect. The brain's attempt to monitor for the forbidden thought actually forces the memory into the forefront of your consciousness with increased intensity. These natural instincts to isolate during pain or to fight negative thoughts function as glitches that lead to increased emotional suffering. These internal states project a detectable behavioral signal into the physical world. Low self-confidence manifests through subtle changes in micro-expressions, posture, and speech patterns. Social groups detect these signals subconsciously, often resulting in the individual being categorized into a lower social tier before a conversation even begins. Social interaction follows the physics of activation energy. This graph shows the steep spike required at the start of an interaction. Once begun, the energy demand drops into a low, steady baseline. Continuing a conversation is objectively easier than starting. Social awkwardness often results from a simple lack of initial momentum, a failure to overcome the physical resistance inherent to human interaction. In group dynamics, adding a third person into an existing relationship mathematically dilutes the attention and perceived value of the original two people, as illustrated by the shrinking slices in this chart. Regaining authority in these situations requires a shift toward using concrete, specific examples in your speech. Using specific details triggers narrative transport, a state where the listener's brain is forced into deep attention as it constructs a mental model of your story. When attention is withheld, you can also apply the principle of scarcity. Intentionally ignoring someone makes your validation a limited resource, which can cause the other person to value your attention more highly. Attention and social influence behave like economic resources. Their value fluctuates based on the direct manipulation of supply and demand. From the way we handle grief to the way we command a room, human behavior is governed by predictable, hackable algorithms. Understanding these rules gives you the power to rewrite your own code. You can change your personal feedback loop by mastering the friction of your morning thoughts and aggressively filtering your internal self-talk. Internalizing these psychological mechanics offers a precise method for navigating the social and professional world with increased confidence and clarity.